Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's HBCU game day, and once again, hanging out with my brother. You know we check in with him a couple of times each week. He's Neely from Thee Pregame Show. Go ahead and tell me how tired you are seeing Neely. I don't care. This is my man. We got to talk. Neely, you were at the scrimmage this weekend. Jackson State put on the pads, man. They got after it. What were some of your takeaways from Saturday night?
The first takeaway, man, was how brilliantly beautiful the weather was. We had an unseasonably cool August evening at 1400 Lynch Street. It was in the mid to low 80s, nice overcast, man. It felt like October or April out there, so that was a blessing. But the biggest takeaway I had was the excitement from the coaches and the players to finally be in pads and out there with referees and whistles and going at it full speed.
Okay, so there was excitement, but was there happiness? I'm not sure. Let's listen to the offensive coordinator, one of the star linebackers, and let's see if it was ice cream and cookies after the game.
There's way too many mental mistakes. We got to clean that up. I thought at the end we played pretty physical that last group. We did some good things, but we got to clean up a lot of stuff. We're just real sloppy right now and not nowhere close to where I want us to be.
I feel good. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff we need to work on. I did all right. I ain't played to like 40 potential. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff I need to work on, but I did okay like for the first scrimmage. Yeah.
That's your ball.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, LBU, linebacker university, nobody can go down y'all's aisle without getting no pistol water.
You know that.
So y'all treating it the same way out there on the field. We're 21 days away from FAMU. What does 40 have to do to get ready in 21 days?
Just stay in the film room. Just keep helping the guys on the defense, even the offense, make sure they stay in their playbook, watch film, watch everything they need to watch, and get prepared for the game. So we got to be prepared for every game.
All right, so Neely, you talked to those guys. The OC was, there's a lot of sloppiness. Keontae Hampton, he was like, I did okay. But I think that's typical. I don't think anybody comes out of scrimmage number one saying, hey, it was perfect, man. Roll out the balls. Let's play tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's right, Charlie. I think that those guys were being hard on themselves, but also acknowledging that they were right where they expected to be for a first scrimmage. It's one of those attributes of the Coach Prime era here is that the bar has been raised. And, SWAC preseason awards don't mean anything. We got to get out there and perform. And although this was a high-performing offense this spring, the spring is gone. So Michael Pollock, co-offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, he has some goals for this team that did not get met the first scrimmage. But, you also know that he was pleased with the running back effort, pleased with the receivers, working on some things with the quarterbacks, particularly QB1 that's going to get the lion's share of the starts and the throws. But all in all, Coach Prime even said it at the end of the camp, hey, no meetings tonight. Y'all go ahead and go. I like where we were. I like where we are. We'll get this back on track Monday and Tuesday and get ready for FAMU.
Shedeur Sanders, QB1, after the game, he kind of admitted to the defense, hey, y'all might have got the best of us, but we're going to come back on Monday and go after it again. How did he look out there under live action?
I thought the ball was coming out of his hand, at the right time. That's something they've been working on in June and July is that release speed, and I could see that improvement, that uptick in that regard. But I got to tell you, he was right. I don't think there's any shape, form, of the imagination that the defense did not win this scrimmage. Niles Gaddy, I stopped counting at 5 sacks. That guy was getting back there, and although you're not hitting the quarterback, you can get back there and right at him. You could just tell that this guy has a motor. There was a couple of interceptions from good defensive play, not necessarily bad passing. So I think Shedeur, QB1, owned it, said, hey, y'all got us, but we're coming back at you. Everybody's got to get in that lab and do some work.
Heard a lot of great things about Niles Gaddy at Media Day. Coach Sanders was fawning all over him, so it sounds like there's a lot of truth to that. What about Keontae Hampton? He's there's been a lot of hoopla with the transfers and all the new faces, and rightfully so. People get excited about that. But Keontae is a day one type. He's been there. What type of kid is he? One of the stalwarts and longtime members of this team.
Yeah, I think he's got a great attitude almost a chip on his shoulder that, hey, I'm part of this program. I was here and I'm still in this starting lineup, still in this linebacker rotation. in this linebacker room, holding my own with some D1 transfers, if you will, some Power 5 transfers, if you will. But his bar is high as well. He has what he calls the 40 standard, his number, and he didn't feel he played up to that, but he is grinding it out as well. Those linebackers were impressive. Aubrey Miller was out there flying around. Hampton, as we're talking about, was flying around. Malik McClain, who is the USC transfer, did not play due to some little nagging injuries. Didn't want to get him out there and make anything worse. But I think this defensive bunch is much improved and put some pressure on that offensive line.
All right, but we did hear a lot in the postgame about 38 Special. That name keeps coming up every time. There's a lot of pieces to talk about, but when you talk about that offense, it always seems to come back to that 38 Special, Neely.
Yeah, Santi is going to get the lion's share of the carries. There's a stable of running backs that anybody can perform at a moment's notice. But I think that you're going to have Moultrie getting some carries. He's a freshman out of Texas, familiar with Deion Sanders. I think he's going to get some playing time. But Coach Pollock, Coach Sanders, they love who they call 38 Special. A guy who comes from being a photographer to leading the team in rushing and getting a $125, $150 a game. He's back and he's ready to run, and that 38 Special will shoot.
And if people missed that, if they didn't really pay attention this spring, I mean, the kid was the cameraman. Like, you talk about getting it from the mud, Neely. That's a lot of mud, Neely. He was doing my job over there, man.
Man, that is something that, we're going to look up and see a movie about this story. The guy, as you said, Tyler, was a cameraman, worked his way into some reps at practice, dressed for a game, and it was Coach Sanders' plan to let him get a couple of carries in that game. Well, first play of the game, the starting running back gets injured. And next thing you know, he's running the ball and he's running all over the field and making national news and hadn't looked back, wearing the number 38, and he is still doing it this summer and looking forward to doing more of it this fall.
And hadn't picked up a camera since, I'm sure. He can let us old guys do that, man. He's got to run that rock. Neely, people are so excited about the Orange Blossom Classic, man. I ran into a FAMU alum in the grocery store this past weekend, man. I know we talked. People were trying to get bread, man. We were just all in the way talking, and he could not get enough. And look, I was digging it too, man. Talking about this FAMU Jackson State matchup that's getting closer and closer every day to kick off the season, man. What type of buzz are you feeling there in the SIP?
It's the same here. A lot of energy, a lot of excitement as it gets closer and closer. I wouldn't call it pressure, but the coaches and the players realize, hey, we don't have 6 months anymore. We don't have 3 months anymore. We got less than 3 weeks now. And so there's some things that got to get fixed before we get on that plane and head to Miami for that opening game. It's a SWAC game. It's a SWAC East game. It's against a new arrival to the SWAC. A lot of excitement because it's FAMU and they're a name brand entity like Jackson State is. So the buzz couldn't be higher, and it's only growing as each day gets closer to that kickoff.
And everybody's looking for intel, giving out intel. I mean, I was hearing about players that, you might not have heard about this guy, but watch out. He's going to be out there. So, man, the excitement, the desire for info, it's almost like, you remember that game, man, we used to have where the players would vibrate on the magnetic field in front of you, man. We're just itching for anything, and it's going to be here before we know it. Neely, before we get out of here, man, look, we have a lot of fun. People give us heck all the time about talking about Jackson State, and it's all in fun. We enjoy it. But it's all one big family, man. Earlier today, you were out there in Mississippi with fellow alums from Alcorn State, Mississippi Valley State, Jackson State. You guys got out there and had a good time, man. And that's really what the SWAC culture is all about, right?
It certainly is. There's an event that takes place here called JAM, Jackson State, Alcorn, Mississippi Valley, where the alumni chapters right here in Metro Jackson, the capital city, get together to kind of kick off and get some excitement going for the football season, signing up alumni, buying season tickets, having a pep rally, if you will. I got to give it to Mississippi Valley, man. Their head coach was out there, Coach Dancy. We got to chat about SWAC Media Day. He did a sit-down interview or stand-up, if you will, with Bishop. And A.D. Robinson from Jackson State was there. So it's a lot of excitement taking place because people kind of feel like, hey, we're going to be able to get back in these stadiums, practice some social distancing, have our masks on, encouraging vaccinations. But tonight for that event was just one of those things that kind of signals we're almost there. It's almost football season.
Look, I know you're with Thee Pregame Show. We always talk Jackson State, but Coach Dancy is a JSU alum.
That is.
I low-key love his energy at Valley. I'm not ready to claim them, the next SWAC champions, man, but I really like what he's doing at Valley. I like his vibe, his energy, the way his players respond to him, man. I don't think anybody should just pencil in, we got Valley, check. I would not take that approach this year.
Well, I tell you, Tyler, you sound a lot like Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. They struck a good relationship tone and tenor when they were there at SWAC Media Day, and have been in contact since then, working on some projects that can benefit Jackson State and Valley. And as I told Coach at SWAC Media Day as well, it's Mississippi versus everybody. Their game here in Mississippi on September 26th, they host Southern from Baton Rouge at Jackson State's home stadium right here in Jackson. On the same weekend of our home opener. We're on a Saturday, they're on a Sunday. And so we're pulling for Valley. We're going to deal with Valley when we play them late in October, but we're pulling for them against Southern for that East versus West game in this capital city. So Coach Dancy is a Jackson State guy. He has a good demeanor, good relationship with those student athletes, and he's building something exceptional in Valley. And we wish him nothing but the best, except for on the days that he plays Jackson State.
Hey, those running backs, man, that quarterback, they can run it. It's going to be a good one, man. Look, get that JSU defense to stretch the legs, get out there and running in the open space, man. It should be a good one.
It will be. That'll be in October. But first thing first, we're less than 3 weeks away from Miami. We got to take care of family first.
They keep getting closer. Look at that. The pennants. 1-2. Look at it. Every week, man. Almost game time. He's Neely from Thee Pregame Show. I'm Tolly Carr, HBCU Game Day. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We'll talk to you soon.